So I'm super, super thrilled to have with us today Roopa Vyas. Roopa, welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So just to give you an intro about Roopa, Roopa is a pharmaceutical scientist as well as serving as the director of Her Game 2 in Wales. She has championed their cause across the region whilst proudly representing Liverpool FC as their ambassador. How are you feeling today, Roopa?
Good. I've been better after recent results, but can't complain. Nearly Christmas.
All breast nearly Christmas. Cool. So I should want to start off briefly discussing kind of playing growing up as well. So were you always a football fan when you were younger?
Yeah. Through and through.
Did you always support Liverpool?
Yes. Yeah.
True. True dedicated fan. So what was your experience like growing up in an Asian household with your love for football?
So I think it's quite different to a normal, I say normal, like a local Welsh household, I guess. Quite different. There's a lot of stigma behind me liking football as a young girl. It's something that I wasn't necessarily allowed to do or shouldn't do. And I was told constantly by, my immediate family, relatives, other family, friends, constantly like, football? What do you mean football? It was quite tough. And it's something that I didn't really think about properly until, I became an adult. And then I was like, hang on a minute. Those comments weren't right. Why are people telling me what I can and can't do? Why is my brother allowed to support his team and watch football and shout at the TV? And I'm not allowed to do the same in the house, And there's certain expectations of me as an Indian girl that, you're going to grow up. Your in-laws aren't going to like this. You need to be able to learn to cook. You need to do this and not go to football. It was a very, weird thing looking back, trying to explain to your friends as well. My other friends who are not from an Asian household, what it's like is quite difficult and it's quite alien to them to hear about my experiences. But, I think now just talking about it really helps. There's a lot of people who've experienced the same and are still going through it. There's a lot of sort of traditional views within our communities, I guess. And, it's slowly changing, but I think we just need to talk about it more and make it more normal.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. And you talked about you come from an immediate family as well. So I'm right, so your brother does watch football and stops football.
Mm-hmm.
What about your parents?
Yeah, so my dad's into football. My mum's not a football fan, but she had no choice. Growing up in a household where everyone else was watching it, she had to she'd support both teams though. So my brother's a United fan, sadly. She was always like, oh, somebody has to win. I'm like, no, mum, the team can draw as well and we can both be happy. But I grew up in a household, it's a male-dominated family as well. I've got uncles and male cousins and it's just, I'm the only, girl in the family. So for me to like football should be quite normal because I'm surrounded by men, but there was such a stigma around it. And I grew up as a tomboy, I wasn't very girly when I was growing up. I wasn't into makeup and dresses and things like that, like the typical girl things. And, it's not like that anymore anyway. There are no typical girl things. Girls can like whatever they want and, you can have it all. I get my nails done for the football, which is, the best of both worlds. But yeah, it was quite, I guess, just quite strange, really, for my family to, when they're explaining to people like, oh, no, she's not attending this event because she's at the football. I stayed home from an engagement party to watch the World Cup while the rest of my family, including my brother, went because that's how much I love football. So, yeah, trying to explain that to Asian friends and family is quite difficult. So I guess it was a bit strange for them to deal with.
Yeah, no, 100%. But of course, you kept that love for football going, and now you're still playing, still watching, and you're part of that game too. So, what was like the first game you went to watch?
So it was Liverpool United in Cardiff. It was a big game, a League Cup final, and Gerrard and Michael Owen scored the winners. In my hometown, close enough to my hometown, so in Cardiff. And it was just one of those things where written in the stars, really. Liverpool versus United in Wales, and we won. So couldn't ask for more than that.
Well, how old were you when you went to go watch it?
6.
6? That must be magical for you, just watching it all happen.
I can barely remember it, and to be fair, my memory of football games, even from recent months, is quite not very good. But it's just knowing that I was there and being able to say that I was there is just incredible.
It is incredible just being part of that experience as well. That's fantastic. And I think closely, fairly recent, at the start of early 2000s, we had Grinda Chudder's Bend It Like Beckham that was released. And this was certainly a very humorous clash between culture and sport, and he broke so many barriers within this industry. And he took a really fresh approach on Asian women in football. And how do you think this kind of impacted the way Asian women are perceived in football?
I just think that film, firstly, iconic, like my favourite film of all times. I didn't realise how much I related to it until I grew up, and then I was like, yeah, she's standing up for herself, and she's going to that wedding and playing a football final. What more could you ask for? That's exactly what every Indian football fan wants to be able to do. And yeah, I just think it was so ahead of its time, and people never really took it serious. And I don't think I took it that serious until, like I said, I grew up and I realised how wrong those comments were, and I still get them to this day. I'll be on my phone, on the phone to a relative, and I'll be told, you need to pack this football thing in. I'm like, I'm nearly 27, I'm too far gone now. There's no helping me. This is who I am, and it's part of me. It's a big part of my life, and the ups and downs with football as well impacts the rest of my life. So, and with that film, I just think, for people, my other friends to be able to watch that and see that is part of my life and that is what I've been through, and to be able to understand it in a sort of comedic way is for them as well. I think, for us, it's to relate to it, but for them, it would be to actually look at my situation from a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. And I think it's so important. It's really refreshing to hear that from you as well, because I now know, the next generation of, Asian girls, they can, it's okay to like football. It's okay to play. It's okay to watch it, and it's really refreshing to see that starting to build up like that. And kind of moving on to her game too now. We actually had a bit of a British chat before this, but if you're okay to repeat yourself about this, how did you become part of her game too?
So I think, like a lot of people, obviously I saw the iconic video when they launched back in 2021, and just took social media by storm, and rightly so. It was really impactful, seeing those messages and seeing that other women had enough of these comments. And I know it stemmed from comments on social media, and it was during COVID, lockdown, where everyone was on social media airing their views on football because that's all we could do. It's all we had at that time. So, yeah, and then just watching that and, resonating with that a lot, I just kind of watched it from a distance sort of thing, and sort of I was trying to figure out where it came from. Was this the FA? Was this the Premier League, the EFL? I didn't know where it came from. And then I slowly figured out that it was fans just like me who just wanted to raise awareness and take a stand against these comments. So, yeah, I'd just been, I'd been involved in a few different things. I represented Wales in their Euros videos and things like that. And then I just saw a bit of a gap, and I was like, they don't have anyone for Liverpool. So I kind of put myself forward and said, if you need someone for Liverpool, I'd love to get involved. And then March 22, got involved. And then within about 6 months, stepped up, and I'm now a director of this award-winning campaign, which is just, it's incredible. I feel like it's been a part of my life for so much longer than 18 months.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And I remember when we first got in touch with her game too, and we were doing a bit of research about them, I was like, why did I not know this was such a thing? I didn't even realize this was happening. And I saw all the work all the directors were putting together, and it was actually just yesterday we were at Leicester City Football Club, and I met Eve, who I didn't even realize was one of the Her Game 2 directors until she told me. I was like, no way. And it's crazy. It's so incredible the work that you've been doing, and just on behalf of us as well, we just want to say a big thank you for all the hard work you guys have been doing over the UK, and just the amount of young girls that you've been inspiring is absolutely incredible. And we actually had Amy and Ellie's the Her Game 2 ambassador for Nottingham Forest, come to our shoot 2 months back, And I'm hoping they loved it because I could see the big smile on their faces. What that means. But yeah, no, so awesome to have you guys along with us. And now, obviously, we had the Women's World Cup fairly recently. The Lionesses were absolutely amazing. You know, even though it wasn't the final result that we were all expecting, they did so well. And I feel like we had real big wave of support coming for women's football and the Lionesses fairly recently. You know, we have come a very long way with equality in this sport. However, I still feel like there is a long way to go. And what do you think the future of women's football looks like?
I mean, it's quite hard to say because it's taken us a very long time to get to this point. And I think, you know, with recent comments and things like that, yeah, women in football there's still a lot of stigma around it, and there's still a lot of, I guess, like hesitation to support, and I'm not sure why. Like, there's so many of us now. Like, even with her game too, you know, we've got 6 directors and we've got, I think, like 80, 90 ambassadors across not even just the UK. We've got ambassadors in France, and they're mostly women. We've got some men involved as well, which is great. But, you know, just to see that and what we've got just from volunteers, and then the role models we have now, we didn't have growing up. And, you know, the role models that we can be as well, you know, I just think it's so important. And yeah, I think, you know, like you said, things have changed and we've had a huge wave of support, and that obviously comes hand in hand with the success of the Lionesses. But then there's still a long way to go. You know, you're still getting comments about men playing against women. And I don't think that it's one sport, but it's 2 separate games.
Yeah.
You know, different physicality and things like that. And we just got to accept that for what it is. You know, if you support a football club, go and watch the women as well. You know, they often play on different days. They play in smaller grounds as well. You most likely meet the players as well. It's brilliant. And, you know, the more it grows, obviously, the less likely that is. But, you know, for now, just enjoy it and support them. I think that's all we can continue to do. And for us, like, to keep promoting it and promoting the game. And, you know, seeing the Lionesses, the impact it's had even in Wales, you know, we're fierce rivals, but seeing the impact here and like grassroots teams just growing and growing. My local team, Billy Dragons, they've got like over 250 girls. They've got a women's team now. They've got an under-3 or under-4s team. And it's just like the age range is incredible and everyone wants to play football now. And, you know, her game too, we opened our first training centre this year. It's in Cardiff. Hopefully we'll roll them out across the country, but just seeing the impact that football can have on people. People just want to, you know, it's about physical health. It's about mental health, you know, just letting people have that safe space to kick a ball about. If they don't play well, you know, there's no pressure. We have a judgment-free zone. People can literally just do drills. They can learn new skills. They can ask for tips and tricks if they want to. And if they don't, great, they can just pass the ball back and forth. You know, that's what we wanted to provide. And, you know, the fact that we've been able to do it so soon and open our first training centre is just incredible. And, you know, I just hope it continues to grow. And hopefully we'll have them across the country soon enough.
We're definitely looking forward to that. And, you know, like you're saying, obviously these training centres are aimed towards that younger audience, the next generation of footballers. What would you say your message is for the next generation of female footballers?
Just keep going. You know, don't pay attention to these mindless comments. As hard as it is, you know, it can be really off-putting, especially for a young girl. And social media is a big thing now as well. I'm so glad it wasn't around when I was growing up. But, you know, it's a huge part of everyone's lives. And, you know, you see everything then appear on like Sky Sports News and BBC News and things like that. And it spreads so fast. But, you know, if you can, just switch your phone off, you know, don't pay attention to those comments. Keep doing what you're doing. Take inspiration from, you know, the people that we look up to. There's so many incredible women working in so many different spaces of football, whether it's a player, whether it's punditry, whether it's behind the scenes and media. You know, there's so much out there now, and you do have role models now. So just make the most of it and just persevere through it.
That I absolutely love that. Thank you so much for coming here and talking to us today.